People are getting sick. People are dying. The news is all doom and gloom. It's getting worse and worse as the days go by. This morning, the governor of New York announces the third death from coronavirus, COVID-19. There's so much panic in the world. They're calling it a pandemic. I think it means it's a panic epidemic. And I don't mean to make light of what's going on, but it feels like we're at war. There's no food, there's no water, there's no toilet paper in the store. You go to Target or Costco and it's all sold out. There's nothing there. The people came and they grabbed everything. There's a line to get in. You can't even get out. There's nothing on the shelves. I don't know what they're waiting for. And I'm not making fun. I think it's very serious. Something happened. Something happened. We have a virus running loose throughout the world. The whole world is in a panic. Everything's in panic. Well, the thing to fear the most is fear itself. And we need to talk about what to do and what not to do in these difficult times, because if you look at the statistics, and I'm not a doctor or a scientist, I'm not even a researcher, but to me, if you just look at the sheer numbers and you look at the information, and the information is so skewed, it's not really telling us anything. And I think the reason the information is not telling us anything is because we don't have enough information. And if we don't have enough information, we're just being extra cautious, an abundance of caution. So we're all in fear and anxiety. How's that helping us? Fear and anxiety inhibits your immune system. It makes us less likely to be able to fight this thing and be able to stay healthy. This morning I was talking to someone and he was telling me about the cruise ship. So I went to go look at the statistics from the cruise ship. I think it's a Diamond Princess, and I'm sorry if I have the name wrong, 3,711 people on a cruise ship. A cruise ship's a good number of people. They were all tested. They've all been living together in close quarters. They've been eating together. They've been swimming together. They've been walking up and down the hallways together. And I'm sure they do a great job sanitizing the ship and taking precautions. I don't doubt that they do, but at the end of the day, you have a lot of people in close quarters. Perfect opportunity for a virus that's so highly contagious to spread. Well, let's look at the statistics. 3,711 people. 634, less than 20%, are test positive. Less than half even feel like they have symptoms. So half the people of the 20%, only 10% even have symptoms. And unfortunately, I believe 3 people have died. 3 lives is a serious thing. Every life is precious. But they don't tell us what was the history of those patients who died. Were they people who were very sick, very ill? Were they oxygen dependent? Did they have underlying symptoms or underlying sickness that they were, maybe it was their last thing, it was the last thing on their bucket list and they were just getting it done. I don't know. But if you look at those numbers, it's 3 people out of 3,711, that's 0.01%. That's not as scary as a 14% or 18%. Then I was talking with someone else, he tells me a story about Hurricane Sandy. Hurricane Sandy hit East Coast few years back, and a gentleman who lived in a beach house looked outside and he said to his wife, oh my God, we're going to die. We're not going to make it. Oh my God. He saw the waves were coming up and coming up and coming up, and he went to sleep that night and he didn't wake up. And it's my belief he died from panic and fear. He didn't die because of a hurricane. The hurricane is not what killed him. It was the panic and fear that had that effect. And Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning, phenomenal book. This is a man who he lived in Vienna. He was a psychologist. And he was in the concentration camps, and he realized that when people gave up hope, when people were feeling that there was nothing left, it didn't take them 24 to 48 hours. They would contract a disease and they would die. They'd be dead in less than 48 hours. There were lots of disease. There was malnutrition. There were terrible, terrible living conditions, if you could even call it living conditions. But when people had hope and people were looking forward to something, they had a better chance of survival, even under those terrible conditions. We are blessed. We live in America. We live in a land that has so much, that gives us so much freedom and has so many things: medicine, food, resources, infrastructure, indoor plumbing. I mean, people are running and buying bottled water. I don't think this thing affects the water supply. I mean, turn on your faucets. If you want, you can filter your water at home. All of this leads me to something. There's a message, there's a lesson, there's something we need to be doing differently. There's something we need to learn from this process. It seems to me there's some do's and some don'ts. Don't just shake hands with everybody. Don't hang out in large crowds and be on top of each other. Keep 3 feet of distance. Wash your hands with soap and water constantly or throughout the day, multiple times. When you come in or out, or you're doing something, or you're interacting with others, be cautious, absolutely. Spend some time, especially if you're in quarantine. Look inside. Get grounded, breathe deeply, Pay attention to the world around you. Think about somebody else. Think about some kindness you can do for someone. The world exists on kindness. It's a cornerstone of the world. Do something nice for someone else. Send a letter, an email, make a phone call, check in on someone, say something nice to them. Make amends with somebody that you're not getting along with, especially if it's a family member. Pray. Faith is a phenomenal thing. My friend Bill Sterling, who's a nature guide, he spends a lot of time in the Grand Canyon. He was just telling me last week or 2 weeks ago, about how when you spend time in nature, you realize how powerful and strong God's creation is. And how we think that we're going to protect nature, but in fact, we're so insignificant compared to nature. And maybe this virus is one of those lessons too. It came from somewhere, I don't know where, and we haven't figured out what to do about it, obviously. And the whole world is in a panic. But instead of being in a panic, why don't we get grounded? Why don't we get centered? Why don't we choose? Because the one thing we truly control, because we don't control very much, even if we think we're in control, we have no control. This is the biggest proof. Our economy, the world economy, just went poof, just like that, literally almost overnight. People they don't know if they're coming or going, and it's scary because people don't have enough savings to withstand a month or 2 weeks in quarantine. How do we just live without income, without living, without doing what we need to do? And it's just the beginning. We're just getting ramped up. We still don't know. But we can control where we focus. We can't control what we think. We can't control what we think about. We can't control how we perceive what's happening next. We can control our emotions at some level. And what we put out there is going to return to us. If we're thinking positive and thinking good and doing good and looking out for others, our immune system will be empowered to fight this disease. And we could be like those people who don't even show symptoms and have this thing go right through us. There was a meeting in New York with all the international diplomats. Apparently they told everybody that millions of people already have this thing. And there's no point in testing because everybody kind of has it. Well, if everybody has it and it's already out there, yes, we should still take some precautions. We don't want to spread it further, and we definitely don't want to be contagious, and we don't want to be transmitting this to the elderly and to the infirm where they're more susceptible to getting hurt. We also want to look inside. We also want to become better people as a result. We want to think about what we can do. We want to think about how we can improve going forward. And if we end up with a forced 2-week vacation, when we're stuck in quarantine or things are going to be closed down, it's a perfect opportunity to think about what's important to us. To think about what if a person was sick and this was their last few weeks? What would they want to correct? How would they want to correct it? And if they have the opportunity to survive and move forward, let's focus on that as well. Again, just to put the numbers in perspective, I Googled this the other day. Suicide nationally in the US last year was at 47,500 people died of suicide. Internationally, 800,000 people. This is a much bigger epidemic. Suicide is a way bigger epidemic than COVID-19. Drug overdoses, opiate overdoses, nationwide last year in 2018, 2 years ago, the numbers dipped. We're just over 67,000 people died of an opiate overdose. This is a way bigger problem. 128 people die every single day from an opioid overdose. Well, we're not talking about that. We're talking about a virus that most people won't even feel that they have, and most people who feel that they have it will just have the flu symptoms for a couple of days, and then, God willing, they'll be okay and move forward. We're at war, people. We're at war for control of our focus. We're at war for control of our thoughts and feelings and emotions. And the worst thing we can do is spend all day on social media and hitting that refresh button. I want to call my refresh button the panic button. I want to hit that. The news cycle is so terrible. It has such a negative impact on our emotions. It's literally only just making us feel crazier and crazier. It's not helping us feel better. So my first piece of advice is, don't listen to the news. Certainly don't start off your day with it, and don't listen to it throughout the day. You want to check in and see what's going on for a few minutes at the end of your day? Okay. More than that, I wouldn't do. Tell all your groups on social media, on WhatsApp, on Insta, on Snapchat, only send me positive vibes today. I need some good positive vibes. Let's share good stuff. Let's share wholesome stuff. Let's think about things that can build us up and get our immune systems feeling strong. When we're laughing and happy and connected, we'll have a better ability to fight this disease. And of course, let's wash our hands with soap. Stay hydrated. Drink enough water every day. Eat properly, eat healthy. Don't binge on chips and I don't know what, and junk food and sugar. Do some exercise, stretch. It doesn't have to be a lot, doesn't have to be intense, just something to get moving and get blood flow going. Get some well-needed rest. Pray. Don't be afraid to pray. You know, and if you're an atheist, there's always the atheist's prayer. God, if you exist. And if you are, you can pray and you have who to pray to, pray. Keep a schedule. Go to sleep at a normal hour, get up at a normal hour, maintain some type of routine. It'll help. And remember, what we put out there is going to come back to us. Let's put some good stuff, let's put some good feelings, let's put some optimism out into the world. Right now, it's so much doom and gloom and anxiety and fear and panic. We're calling it a panic-demic. Let's get more optimistic. We can fight this, we can beat this, we're strong, we're capable. We don't know what it is, but we don't know what a lot of things are. We just think we're in control. We have this illusion of control. Well, God's letting us know He's in control. So God, please save us. Help us get out of this thing with a little bit more clarity and a little bit more kindness and a little bit more perspective on what's really meaningful in our lives. And I'm pretty sure if we do that properly, this thing will be gone the same way it came here, quick. If you agree, if you disagree, feel free to send me a message at yes@themaxmethod.net. Yes@themaxmethod.net. Friends, be safe.